Good morning and welcome to Fat Cow Farm. Now, for those who have been following our little videos and things like that, you would have noticed that we had a failure as trying to prepare our root vegetable garden outside the chicken coop. And then for those who know the whole chicken coop setup, we've got our 6 bays and everything else. And what we thought the process would be is that we wanted to increase our harvest inside the chicken coop with more above ground crops and to eliminate our root crops because of the maturity and harvest times. You know, we're looking up to 6 to 8 months. But with that failure that we had, and knowing that, you know, we're going to have to start preparing that bed for the next 12 months ready for next year, I needed to get my garlic and potatoes in for this season. So we've had to dedicate a bay again for our garlic. Now, this is typically one of our bays, which is a 6x4 in meters. So it just carries just over 1,000 cloves. And that's what we've got ready for this year. So what we've got is at 150mm spacings all the way through as a part of the horizontal and diagonal. We'll make all this work, but we've now had to sacrifice this bay just for our garlic harvest. And then what I'll have to do is find another bay for our potatoes. It just kills me. But I think what we'll end up doing with potatoes is then put them into the hot house, the high tunnel hoop house. And I think that that might be the best way to go through as a part of square footage that we have available to us. So luckily enough, this particular bay, the chickens have been running in here pretty much on about 6 months now. So we've had green manures through here and everything else, and they've broken them down. So typically what we want to do is with the garlic, because they need free draining soils. So the old trusty broad fork is pretty much our gauge here. We've got 300mm on our tines, and we need to make sure that we get to the bottom, and then we can shake them out. So what I've done is quickly this morning, I've run through and just turned this over and given it a bit of a rake. I've got my 300mm depth, and that is nothing compared to, well, you know, from what our little vegetable garden outside. I think I was really lucky to get 100mm. So we're going to really have to work on that one out. But inside, we're ready to go. You can see there's a lot of straw matter and everything else still in here, which we've just turned over. So that's all fine. So what I'm going to do is I'll water this in, and then what I've got is I've got a sacrificial bale of hay here that I'll just mulch over the top, because what I need to be looking at is, I think I've got about a week or 10 days, something like that, before the garlic needs to be in. So anyway, I'll get all this right, we'll let it all settle for a period of time, and then over the next couple of weeks or so, I'll start planting out, and we'll do a little video on that also, about planting this one out. So anyway, I thought I'd just touch base. I'll get this watered in, and then I'll bring that hay in, and then I'll show you. Look, I'm sinking here. It just shows you how light this soil is now. And then so what I'll then do is I'll bring you back in once we've got it covered, and show you what we're looking at. So yeah, growing garlic a la Australian style in your chicken coop, mate. But it worked for us because we're building up our volume, and that's what you know, what we wanted to do was to build up our garlic bulb volumes, so that we have a crop that we're ready to rock and roll with. So, but anyway, we'll get all this squared away. So I'll come and find you, and I'll see you soon. All right, so here we go. It's all covered now, and we've watered our base, and now what I'll do now is just water in this mulch. Now what we want to do is, what have I got? Yeah, I think I've got that 2 week period. So in another week or so, I'll give this another hit before we start planting out. really trying to keep the ground moist, ready for the initial planting. Again, once we've put all the cloves in, we'll then drop some more water on them, and then pretty much maybe about 3 weeks after that, I'll give it another hit, and then I'll just let nature take its course. Because we had some great success with the other bay, which I think was up in bay number 4 here, where the pumpkins are growing now. And so the only thing to really remember is that when you're putting in garlics, you've got to rotate your beds, rotate your beds. So and that's why we wanted to get all our root crops out of the chicken coop sort of scenario, because of the time and the rotation and everything else. You know, we were lucky because we could then have the chickens come through, scratch around, really rest it up, put a green manure in and have it ready. So that's like the same as this one here. This one was covered. We've got a green manure in there. You know, for something that we haven't had rain here in ages. So there's still a lot of moisture in this soil up here, and you can see, you know, what's happening here. So that's still got the resting period of 3 months, and then we'll break that down. We'll let the chickens come in, and then that will almost be ready for us to start spring. So this will be our spring bed. And then I've got another one over there which we'll have to turn into our potatoes, and then I'll have to not follow our process so much that where we had last year, we planted a lot of peach seeds, we planted some oak seeds. I'm just trying to think what else was in there. There was pear, there was apple, so a few different bits and pieces, and we thought we would just dedicate one bay for a year as like a little nursery. And huge success, huge, mainly because of all the nutrients in the ground here. So we're just waiting for those to go dormant, and then we'll transfer those out into our orchard here and whatnot. So, and then I think that's where the winter one will be. So we'll just do a quick flip on that one. But yeah, so a little bit disappointing about our pasture garden bed outside, but I think that really at the end of the day, you know, for what we've been working on inside this chicken coop, you know, it took really about 18 months with the chickens coming in here, growing green manures and things like that. So we'll do exactly the same on our larger plot, and we'll have the volume of garlic and potatoes to handle that now, you know. So pretty much guaranteed myself that I'll have worms out in the veggie garden outside there. So it's we'll just smash that out and give it all the good gear we possibly can. So yeah, I'll finish watering this off, and yeah, it'll be a couple of weeks before we're back to add on to this video about planting of the garlic. So till then, I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are back into the new garlic bed that we've got going on, and what I've done is just quickly raised some beds to put our garlic in, because as you know they need to be, you know, good free draining soil, and then also what I've done is we've just quickly run them across the gradient, these little, I suppose you could call them swales or keyline cuts or whatever, but whatever rain that we're going to have, we can then capture that rain and let that just absorb back into the bed. But in turn, we're not saturating the garlic bulbs. All right, so that's pretty much where we are in here, ready to rock and roll. Now, what I will do is I'll just show you what we've got going on, and I've got our 3 different types of garlic. Now, what we have here, and these ones are already starting to shoot. So these are ones that we've kept from last year. So we're pretty much, you know, I would have liked it to be maybe a couple of weeks early before planting, but anyway, they're all starting to shoot now. So that's our Valiant Monaro. We also have this one here, which is the Italian Red, and that's one of my favorites. And the True Blue White Aussie garlic, Australian garlic. All right, so what we'll do now is I've got my garlic here, and I'll just sort of show you, this is how it's all been stored. So you can see all the little shoots starting to come out. This is an Australian white, but very easy to pull apart. So they're all certainly ready for planting. Certainly ready for planting. So yeah, they're just popping straight out, the little cloves. And there's no ream or rising. You know, I'm pretty rough with that. So like that one there will go in. Yeah, these ones here are probably they're too small. So they'll go straight back into the kitchen. And we're all much ready to rock and roll. So just making sure that, and I'll show you that when you're planting your garlic, you can see there's a flat end. So that's where the roots are going to come from. Whoa. So that's where the roots are going to come from. And obviously you can see where this one's already shooted, that the top of the garlic, or the point, that one's already done. That one there. So that one, that hasn't shooted yet, but you can see certainly there's a very distinctive point, but also, you know, you've got that flat section there. All right, so I'm going to get these guys into the garden, and we'll get them watered in, and then we can go from there. All right, man. We'll see you soon. All right, so here we are. Now, so we're now in bed number 6, as we've already discussed, and I've got my beds all laid out. Now, what I've found is that with the garlic that I have, last time I did it, we just did it into the ground. So as on paper, that works out fine. But now raising the beds, obviously I have a smaller area to work with planting out the garlic. And I've run out of space, which is like a first world problem. So what I've got is, I only got a little bit left of my Valiant Namaro, and I'm going to put those through here. I've already done these ones here. I've covered them and I've watered them. And so what I sort of figure is that running them sort of across east-west, I can capture the rain and let that soak through and everything else. And I think that because we've turned it over and we've got a softer bed format, I'm hoping that that gives me a little bit larger volume in garlic itself. So I've got my trusty poker thing, and I'm just running that down as pretty much standard, around about 30 mil or so, which is the first line. I put my garlic in, and we go from there. But in saying that, what's going to happen is I'm going to have to prepare another bay, which for a couple of more beds, so I can get that garlic in as well, and I'll get that done this afternoon. All right, so I've got a little bit more to work out here and get this garlic in, and I'll get this one watered, and then what I'll probably end up doing tomorrow is then just letting them settle overnight, and then tomorrow morning we'll give them a good comfrey tea kickstart, and then maybe about once a week, if we haven't had rain, I'll just give these a bit of a hose, and basically the whole bed now gets shut down for, you know, that 6 to 8 month period. So, all right, so I've got to find some more space. But anyway, like I said, it's a first world problem, and we'll go from there. So let me sort out this. I'll get this covered. We'll get it all watered in, and then we'll try and find a location for the next garlic bulbs. All right, I'll see you soon. All right, so here we go. We've finished off. We've got all our garlic in. Well, the ones that we could fit, and I've watered all the mulch in, so that's all now just going to start compacting with the weight of that water. Tomorrow morning, what I'll do is we'll get the comfrey tea out, and I'll just give this a quick little once over. And then as we go through the seasons, we're really chasing down that cold weather now, that cold weather snap over winter. And as we start seeing the growth of the garlic, that'll start coming up, and then once that spring starts, that warmer weather, the little cloves are going to then turn into proper garlic bulbs. So away we go. So I'm pretty stoked. It's taken all day. I still need to find another area which I'll look at later on and get the other garlic in. because certainly we just ran out of space. Because what the thought that was really concerning me was that last year when we did this, we had it all just in one bay, and it was a bit of an issue walking around without damaging any of the bulbs. So now that we've got walkways and pathways, and with these drifts, not only is it going to catch water, but also gives us a walking space, and as we weed, that'll just all come into these drifts and then break down. So all pumped up. I am absolutely stoked. So we'll really start multiplying our bulbs now, and ready for our big harvest next year when we plant out. So hopefully, we'll have something to really look at over the farm as a cash crop. Fat cow garlic, eh? Absolutely stoked. Absolutely stoked. So all about getting your beds right for your garlic, putting your garlic cloves in, multiplying your volumes, and and taking the bounty for yourself. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.